Bac Sierra. I am a professor at City College of San Francisco and also a United States Marine Corps veteran. I stand here today for Alejandro Nieto, my brother, friend, who was killed by the San Francisco Police Department on Friday. I have a list of things to ask and also state. Who were the officers that were involved in this shooting? What are their disciplinary records? How long have they been on the force? Who was the supervisor in charge of this total atrocity that occurred? As in regards to Alejandro's supposed mental illness, there is no basis whatsoever to state that he was mentally ill, since the 911 calls do not state at all that he was doing anything that was ill. He was eating a burrito, watching The View. If he had been a white man eating a sandwich with a holstered weapon, he would have been confused for a police officer, and they may have gone up there and shooken his hand. To say Alex could not purchase a gun because of some past illness has no bearing whatsoever on this case, since Alex is not being accused of attempting to purchase any type of gun. He was totally licensed to carry a taser, and it is legal in this state for someone who is licensed to carry a taser on a holster. We demand the medical examiner reports, witness statements, complete transparency, any video that was made, and also an outside agency to investigate this. Thank you very much for your attention. Viva Andy Lopez! Viva Alejandro Nieto! Viva!
Next speaker.
Well, I want to thank all those that are here in solidarity with the family of Alex. Thank you for your energy tonight. It's very grounding, and I appreciate it. And I would like to just begin by asking Chief Sir, is it true that your family owns a funeral home? Okay, not anymore. So in KGO, you've been quoted to say that it turns out that Alex has a history of mental illness. I would like to know how is there evidence of that? You know, because I know a mental health therapist, and those records, if that is the case, you know, it's private. Thank you. Confidential. So right there, that's a violation of his privacy, his confidentiality. Okay? Second off, on that moment when he was surrounded by how many policemen, do you really think, or who would actually point a taser gun at how many police officers aiming a gun at me? Like, I don't believe he would do that. Okay? But, you know, what threat could that have been anyways? But, okay. And in the dispatch calls, we want a full transcript. Was the CIT activated? The crisis intervention trained officers, was that activated? And if not, why?
30 seconds.
Again, just to bring up the point in why I asked if your family owns a funeral home, how would that be relevant, right? So how would having a restraining order be relevant in this case if that was not the reason that these calls were made? I know Alex, he's one of the greatest sweethearts, very peaceful, not confrontational. He was not trying to provoke nothing with anybody. He was about peace and harmony. I do not want to be here tonight, but I'm here because this is wrong. I have a family to go home to. I'm a mother of a 15-month-old baby.
My name is Juana Tello, and I'm here because of the anger, frustration, and sadness that I feel about the murder of Alex Nieto. It's another example that you try to use to justify the color of fear. The color of fear that is rooted in racism. You don't understand. I don't think the San Francisco Police Department understands how it feels to have to explain to young black and brown people that their very existence is a threat to other people, is a threat to wealthier people who are not from here, right? That we have to feel that we have to look behind our backs, that we have to live in paranoia in our own communities. I think it's a shame how the family of Alex Nieto has been treated. I think that we are at a place where we are starting to understand and see the contradictions in our city, where we can see that we as people who are born and raised here, who are working class people of color, are an inconvenience to rich people. And that the police department chooses to protect and serve their interests and not our safety. I think it's crazy that we continue to see that the San Francisco Police Department is trigger happy, that chooses to shoot people and then ask questions later. I think it's crazy that we have to think about living in a war zone where we have to be in fear of being shot 14 times. 14 times! That doesn't make any sense. I'm angry. I have to look at my nephews in the eye and tell them, I have to give them advice of how to survive in the face of the police department. No longer can I tell them, put your hands up. Not even that is enough. Their very existence, their skin, is enough for them to feel fear when they walk out the door. This is not justice. We demand to know the names of the officers. We demand transparency. I think it's also a shame that these people get paid administrative leave. That sounds like a vacation to me. That sounds like a vacation to me after murdering somebody. That is a shame. That is a shame, and I think that right now San Francisco has an opportunity and an obligation to say that police brutality will not be tolerated in this city. That's right. Justice for Alex and justice for Andy Lopez.
My name is Frank Lara. I'm an answer organizer, but I'm also a teacher in the mission. And I think it's important to expose really this dog and pony show, right? Because what happens is that it's not that the police, and they're here staring at us, they're here looking at us like they're somehow sympathetic or taking it in. But the truth is, they don't actually fear us. That's why they sit and do that. They don't fear me, they don't fear you. What they do fear is actually the political movement, because they know that very well. That's the only thing that can bring any justice. With this table, and we've seen it over and over, this table right here with the commission is really a rubber stamp institution. Rubber stamp institution, you bring it up, they pretend that they care, they pretend that it's a problem, and then we have a situation over and over. You want the actual facts on that? 3 years ago, it's going to be 3 years this summer, Kenneth Harding was killed in the Bayview. Kenneth Harding was killed for $2. What they did immediately was look over his history and start saying all this atrocious things. That's his life. You don't kill somebody $2, and they didn't investigate it when they killed him for a $2 Muni fare. Everything else was set up afterwards. Then we had the case of Kevin Clark. We organized also in the mission against that brutal beating. What happened? Again, they always have a PR machine supported by panelists like this that go out to the Chronicle and again skew the whole view of the personal life. Now we're seeing the same thing with this case here. Brothers and sisters, on Saturday, it's important that we come out and march. It's important at 3 o'clock you come out in the mission. You know why? Because they say that it doesn't matter. Well, we have the family of Andy Lopez here. We have the relatives, the struggle that's here for Andy Lopez. There's the people like Danica Chapman, her son Kenneth Harding was killed. She will be there. The movement will be there. Alan Bluford's family can be there. That's what they fear, is that they start seeing this being a systemic problem. They start seeing us networking and seeing that it's actually a disease that they have with their system. That not only do they kill, but then on top of it, they defend themselves with these type of institutions.
Good evening. My name is Maria Villalta. I am a community advocate and a friend of Alejandro Nieto. I am a San Francisco seated and breeded female. And I just want you guys to know that I personally, the Alex I knew was very peaceful. I saw him during his work hours and saw him deal with belligerent drunks, and he is not the person that you guys are portraying in the media. And I just had a few questions. First of all, I wanted to know, how long will these murderous police officers be on paid administrative leave? And I believe I heard you say that it's about 10 days before they're going to be coming back, which means that if I'm calculating correctly, they will be back on SF streets in a few days. And I would like to request that you do not put these murderous pigs back on our streets, because we are scared of them right now, and that's not something that we want. Also, I would like to know why yesterday Chief Sir said that Alex was mentally ill, yet the police has never had any contact with him. So I wanted to know if that was the case, why he was approached in the manner he was.
30 seconds.
Also, what did your police officer see that would imply that my friend was unstable? You say Alex said to put your hands up when you requested him to show his hands, and he was 75 feet away in an open space. Look at the size of this room. You need a microphone to hear me correctly. So I would like to know what it was that he heard, or that you guys heard him say, if you're saying that he said that. So just please be accountable to our community and know that we're watching you guys too.
Hello, Commission, everyone, community. My name is Leah Whites. I am a community advocate and a youth educator, and also an advocate for community policing in its truest form, though. I have a few things to address. One thing is that the conversation around mental health has come up. I've been working very closely with DJ Williams, who was the young man that was beat up at Valencia Gardens. I've been working to help heal him, because I'm also a community healer. He is having nightmares. He says that he is jumpy now, where he never was jumpy before. I sit inside of a room with him with all his friends and family members, and he jumps at a shadow or at a movement. There's no justice in that. If you want to talk about mental health problems, the police created that mental health problem. That young man has PTSD now. How is he going to feel safe? I asked him, I was like, how does it feel for you? And he says, I don't feel safe even in a room of people I should feel safe in. Okay? That is so troublesome to me as a human being. I have worked very closely with a few of the police commissioners in training our young people on knowing their rights. Okay? But I cannot, what am I going to tell them? Okay, now that you know your rights and how to engage with them, now you're going to have to, what? Drop everything that you have, don't do anything, don't speak, don't do anything, just sit still? How do we educate them to even feel that they're going to be okay? It's not possible. Now, I have another question. What is the definition of justice? For all of you, I want to know that, because if we're talking about justice, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page of what that means. Is that something that you guys can give us at this time period? Can we have a definition for justice? I mean, like, that's a real question. Like, I would really like to hear an answer.
No, we can't respond.
Good evening. My name is Jeff. I think Alex had many best friends. I have very little friends. He was my best friend. I have a lot of emotions right now, but I'm trying to imagine how would Alex behave. And I know he'd tell me, Jeff, have patience. Never give up. There's going to be a brighter day. He was the hope in my life. Alex was the hope in my life. So rather than get emotional, let me share a couple of facts, maybe things that they don't know. You guys cleaned up the crime scene really well. I mean, you really cleaned the blood. I'm not trying to be gross here. You left his half-eaten burrito at the top of the hill. We have pictures of that. And I imagined a frightened Alex realizing he's the only brown person in the park being surrounded by these police. And he was being trained to try to be a police officer someday. Secondly, someone came up to me and shared, Jeff, I live right next to where the police were shooting. So for the record, he said, all I could see were cops in formation, no yelling, Put your hands down, put your hands up, put your gun down. There was nothing. It was just formation military style. And gunshots. Saw all of that. Did you hear yelling? I heard nothing. I mean, you're 75 feet away. I'm going to yell pretty loud. I'm going to yell loud. I don't want to kill him, right? You can't tell us how many bullets there are, but I can find a half-eaten burrito. I mean,
¡Sí se puede! Zafra Michon, amor for Alex. Always, always. I love you, Ray.
I love you, bro.
Ray.
What's the significance of today?
Today is Si Se Puede Day, Cesar Chavez. He went active at the grocery stores. That's what we're going to do for Alex. We're going to go give leaflets right now at the parade, everywhere on the streets, in the homes, in the churches. We're going to be everywhere for justice y amor para Alejandro Nieto, our brother.
Looking good, brother. Thank you. Looking good.
Then Bac Sierra, good friend and teacher of Alejandro Nieto, who was murdered senselessly at the top of Bernal Heights. And I would like him to say a few words, and then we're going to follow it up with the muralist Carlos Gonzalez.
Orale, gente. How are you all doing? Check out. Homeboys and homegirls, get posted over here. Get posted over here. We got Sound from Michon right here on the radio, right? We just came low riding all the way down Mission Street, and now we are all posted on 24th Street. Sitting shotgun with me was Alejandro Nieto's father. Alejandro was murdered by the police on March 21st over on top of Bernal Heights Mountain. Man, gente, Alejandro Nieto was a beautiful soul. This man had never been arrested in his entire life. He believed in what we're doing right now. Si se puede! Si se puede! And you know what? This is the chant that we have right now for Alex. We have this. Amor for Alex. Let's say it all together right now. Amor for Alex. Amor for Alex. Amor for Alex. All right, gente, if you don't know what happened, let me brief you very quickly about what happened. The homeboy was a security guard, a worker, just like all of us right here. He went to go eat a burrito up on top of Bernal Heights. Check out, man. You can't even make that up. He went to go eat a burrito, look out at the beautiful view, San Francisco, and you know what? He gets profiled. He gets profiled by people who have never had to have a job as a security guard. So they don't understand that what he has holstered on his waist is a taser, a work-issued California licensed taser. And you know what they do? They end up calling the police on him. They can't talk to him. They can't think like, hey, maybe I could ask him, hey, what's up? He's not doing anything except for eating. And you know what? Check out. The cops come in a military tactical style. They come not to try to speak with the homeboy. They come hearing this description. Latin male with the red sweatshirt. Alex was never in gangs. He just loved the 49ers. Like we all love the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
The cops went up there after hearing that, and they went up there to kill whoever was up on top of that mountain. And you know what they did? They say that what they did when they approached Alejandro from 75 feet away, they say he pulled out his taser. Think about this. They're 75 feet away. A taser only goes maximum 15 feet. Why the hell would Alex do that? Alex would want to do that. He interned at Youth Guidance Center. He respected the law. He didn't point any taser, and we know that the police officers know the truth. And you know what? I know that there can be some good cops out there. And this is what I ask for, police department. You brave protectors, check out, confess, because you know what? You know the truth. You know the truth. Be a real hero and tell the truth about what happened on the mountain that day. Because we know Alejandro did not take out a taser and point it at all of you. That's impossible to believe. He was a beautiful, peaceful man, all right? And so check out what we have right now, everybody. We got a booth right here in San Fran on 24th Street and Alabama. We're giving out literature, we're giving information, we're asking you to volunteer to be part of this peaceful, beautiful movement. Because you know what we got? We got the spirit of locura and the intelligence of thousands of years, all right? So gente, let's get together for Alex, let's get together for all of us, and let's do this right. Because we should be able to walk with respect and dignity down our own streets. These police officers are supposed to protect us, not kill us. God bless you all right? Con sapos, si se puede, and one more time, amor for Alex. Say it, everybody, let them hear you. For Alex, amor for Alex, amor for Alex. Y es todo, adiós.
You've been in tune to KPOO San Francisco 89.5 FM. The program is in Clave. We're broadcasting live right here from 24th and Harrison, the heart of the mission. We're celebrating the legacy of Cesar Chavez and honoring the life of Chata Gutierrez.
Life is a miracle. Love is a miracle. Let's live the miracle now. We are here because there is one word that is not operating on our behalf. And that word is justice. 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 Compassion and understanding only work when we have justice. A lot of our young people are angry. We pray for an answer. We pray for the blessing. Pedimos las bendiciones para la familia Nieto. Pedimos por el alma de nuestro hermano Alejandro Nieto, que su espíritu descanse. Pedimos justicia por la gente que cometió este crimen. No se olviden que son ellos los guardianes de la comunidad. Pero están abusando la autoridad. Está pasando aquí, está pasando en Ferguson, está pasando en todas partes. All over the United States, people are angry. They're protesting about the lack of transparency from the authorities, the code of silence. We want the people responsible to come through and to be responsible to justice by the people. We are the people. Somos la gente. Queremos justicia. Si no hay justicia, no hay paz. Without justice, we'll have no peace. The whole. Todo el cariño para usted, maestro. Para su corazón, para que se calme, por el dolor que tiene. Dios lo bendiga, lo cuide mucho, que le dé mucha vida, mucha salud. ¡Amor forever!
Benjamin Bac Sierra. The last name is spelled B-A-C, then a space, Sierra, S-I-E-R-R-A.
You're a friend of the
That's right. I was a friend, a dear friend of Alex Nieto, and now I am part of the Justice for Alex Nieto Committee, and we are here present in solidarity, standing against this needless police killing of our beautiful, community-empowered spirit who was taken too soon.
Give me a sense of the
David,
significance.
have him look at you, not at the camera.
Just look towards me. Give me a sense of the significance of today, what's going to happen today, and the federal suit that's being filed.
Okay, from what I understand, it is unprecedented to march from the place where the person was killed by the police to the federal courthouse. So we are doing something that is unprecedented. However, note that unfortunately, police killings are not unprecedented. There is an epidemic of police killings happening throughout the United States of America, from Ferguson to New York to Salinas, California to Santa Rosa. And so we are here to demand justice for Alex Nieto. We want full transparency. We want the police reports, the witness statements, the medical examiner's report, the total truth in this case, because we have not received that.
And I've been following the blog every day over the last several months too, and you all have been frustrated by the pace of the release, say the medical examiner's report, the DA's office, who the family met with back in May, I think, as well too, had indicated that he was going to help expedite the case. Where do things stand in terms of getting some of those things?
If we waited for San Francisco to release the evidence, we would never get it. That is why we need to go to the federal court, and they will have a much stricter calendar and guidelines that San Francisco must follow, and they will have to submit all of the evidence in due time, get discovery. Let's start getting depositions of the police officers. Let's start getting depositions of different people who were out here that they know about. Let's find out what the autopsy report states, etc.
Why do you think Alex's case is still alive in San Francisco? I see the posters all over town. People still talk about it online. Why do you think this particular case is garnered so much?
This is why. This is why. We are La San Fran Mission. We are the community right here. And we stand together, and we will not allow the lies to take over the truth. We know the truth. Alejandro Nieto never pointed any taser. That is a flat out lie. That is garbage to try to dupe us. To accept that is completely ridiculous. And that is why we as a community have come together, and we are not going to allow San Francisco to bully us, because we are Alex Nieto, and we are also San Francisco too. Amen.
want justice for brother Alex. We want justice for brother Alex. Fire racist cops. Fire racist cops. We want justice for brother Alex. We want justice.
We want justice
for brother Alex. We want justice.
Fire racist cops.
Fire racist cops.
Si se puede.
Si se puede.
Fire racist cops.
Fire racist cops.
Si se puede.
Si se puede.
Fire versus cops.
Fire racist cops.
Sí se puede.
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 Amilcar Perez Lopez was killed by 2 undercover cops. They say he was pursuing somebody to take their bike, but we now know because neighbors have done their own investigation that is not true. That he was actually trying to get his property back from somebody who was harassing him. They jumped him without identifying themselves as undercover cops, and even though he had a knife on him, he had dropped it when they shot him dead. So I'm here, I want to symbolically give one of Amilcar's friends, a David, me gustaría darte unas flores on behalf of us. Por Amilcar. De parte de la familia de Alex Nieto. Thank you, and if you have any offerings to
Gracias a todos por venir y yo pienso que si sigue estas reuniones así grandes, hay que seguirlo haciendo para que las familias de los jóvenes no se sientan que están solos, que hay que apoyarlos y hay que hacer justicia. Adiós.
So David says that he appreciates this large group, that if we continue doing this, we will have justice for these young men and their families. And so he thanks you for being here.
Ellos lo tienen, están en casa. Sí, mucho. Están Marcos que nos ayudaron a dormir. Thank you. Está Richard.
Muy buen día.
Los amigos de Alex y su
Amigos de Alex. Oh, how are you doing? How are you? Hey. Morning. Morning. ¿Y papá?
All right, your name, please?
Su nombre, por favor.
Elvira Nieto.
And how do you spell that, please?
ELVIRANIETO.
Thank you. Just interested in what this rally means to you.
Que para ti que es importante de que estén aquí apoyándote el día de hoy.
Es muy importante que toda esta gente me apoye para soportarme, para saber y para que sepa todo el mundo que mi hijo no era buen hijo.
And so I'm here. It's very important. It's very important that all these people have supported us. It's very important that they're here to learn that my son is a good son. Was a good son.
This is supposed to be and the start of today's trial, the significance of that for you.
La importancia de que estemos aquí iniciando el juicio.
Es muy importante para mí y para mi esposo que estén todos aquí soportándonos.
It's so important for me and my husband that everybody is here supporting us. Thank you.
Thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
You're not too sure you just right.
Thank you. I'm Violeta Vasquez. I am a CCF student. I'm here representing Youth Power players. I'm here representing myself and the younger generation, of course. I'm 19 years old. I'm Chicana, meaning I'm third generation born here in this city. My grandmother's from this city. Alright, both my parents born in this city, so I got mad love for this city. It's going on 2 years that Alex Nieto has been unjustly murdered by SFPD. He was a student. He was a provider, meaning that he was employed. He was young and he was Latino, meaning that he was marginalized. So many of us are victims of circumstance in which we do not have the opportunity to choose where we come from. Thankfully, I'm from here, right? I also want to point out that this is not the end, nor is it the beginning. This is not the start, but we are in a very heated time. Alex Nieto, we are the embodiment of Alex Nieto. We as students, we as young people, we as people of color who have been marginalized, who have been victim to this system for generations. We are him, and Alex Nieto is presente. Alex Nieto is presente. Thank you. Let us remember that he was also an active member of our community, doing exactly what we are doing at this very moment. Being active for justice, for our families, for our communities, for our loved ones. Let us not forget that youth, although they say that we are the future, we are not. We are the present. We lead movements, but we are not empowered in this institution to learn that. We are not empowered to take action. But through Alex Nieto, we have been able to advocate for ourselves. We have been able to sit here and say no, no más. No más! No más! No más! We have played a huge role in keeping our voices alive, in keeping our community's voices alive, in keeping him alive in memory. And that is so important now that it's going on years to reach victory, to reach justice. It is so sad that it takes so many years to do so, and we're still fighting. I also want to add that us as youth, although we are young, there is still a generation that is rising behind us. And we as youth have been educating them in keeping Alex and all the injustices alive, fresh in our hearts as scars in which we bleed. Our mothers have been crying, our communities have been bleeding, and we have all been dying. We can all be next. All depending on what we wear and the color of our skin. Now that is not okay. I'm here for us to show that we each one need to reach one and we need to teach one. Because the minute we stop doing that is the minute that we forget. And it's the minute that we no longer fight for justice. And that I refuse to do as a young person. I'm 19 years old, as I read it. I also want to recognize that we have not, as young people, done this by ourselves. We have been constantly pushing, yes, but we have stood in solidarity with every single person here today and people who are not able to make it. We have stood in solidarity with our elders, our mothers, our victims, our memories, with each other. Today, we are standing here for a federal civil trial. Although we are not trying these killer cops for murder, at some point, hopefully we will. We are here today because we each have to continue to fight so that we can peacefully have achieved justice not only for the Nieto family, but to reassure that this will not be an ongoing issue for my children to have to live through. I, as a child, don't believe that this is something that we are living in, because I am not a child, I'm an adult, and I will be seen as so. I am not the future, I am the present, because I am speaking now, not later. We are here to accomplish something that SFPD has failed to do. We are here to get peace, and we are here to uncover something that they have hidden, which is truth. This is not a criminal trial, like I said before, but it is much larger. It is about our constitutional rights and those being violated. It is about holding our city accountable, something that our system lacks. Let us not be discouraged. Although this is not the beginning, this is the very middle. And we will continue to struggle until we end it, because they started it. And yet they don't have the balls to tell us what is truth, what is justice, and what is right, and what needs to be done. So we will do it for them. We will keep pushing, we will keep fighting, and we will keep loving each other. Thank you. Wow. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful day to wake up and to be in resilience with you all, to be in community, to be a part of this movement. I want to just present some of the young people, some of the young women that I've been working with in the community over the last 2 years, trying to bring justice for Alex Nieto. We're here because Alex Nieto was our brother, right? Because whether or not we knew him, he was our brother, right? I was up there on the hill the day that he was killed, probably doing the same thing that Alex was doing, enjoying one of the last free public spaces that there is in San Francisco, looking over our beautiful city, probably stressed out before going to work, right? Trying to decompress. And he was racially profiled, right? Alex could have been my brother, literally. Alex could have been me, right? And so we're here because Alex was a good man, right? Regardless of what is said in the media, we know the truth. Alex was a servant of the people. Alex was somebody who would aspire to continue giving back to young people in his community. He was somebody who was active on multiple campaigns and multiple issues. Alex was somebody who was a role model to many, right? And for us as a community, when Alex's life was taken from us, when he was killed and murdered by SFPD, we have a responsibility to respond and to model to our young people what it looks like to fight for justice, right? And so as we're fighting for justice for Alex Nieto, we're also fighting to defend land and life, right? Because land and life, our lands and our lives are under attack here in San Francisco. We are very clear that black and brown people are under attack in San Francisco as this city is rapidly changing. And so we know that Alex is a local face to a national epidemic, right? A national problem. Mario Woods is another example. Both Mario Woods and Alex Nieto are examples of what will continue to happen in this city if we do not take a stand against gentrification and the criminalization of our black and brown young people, right? We know how this system works. We cannot expect justice from these institutions that profit off of the oppression of black and brown communities, right? When San Francisco says that there's no money for education, when they say that there's no money for housing, when they say that there's no money for social services, they somehow find millions of dollars to increase their police budget that we know will continue to criminalize people who look like us. So we don't buy their lies. While we are here and we are playing their game, we are very clear that justice comes from the actions that we all take together collectively, right? That it's going to take black and brown people to fight against police impunity. That's the only way that we can really seek justice. And as our city is rapidly changing, and we know San Francisco, the police department is only an agent that protects private interests, we are here and committed to building black and brown unity. The Justice for Alex Nieto Coalition has been working hand in hand with a coalition that is growing and forming, that is representing the last 3% of black San Francisco. Because we know that the attacks on black communities, not just in San Francisco but across the country, are interconnected with the struggles here for Alex Nieto and for the Latino community here who was struggling to stay in this city. And so we're here grounded in love, because as it's very easy to be angry at all the violence that we experience at the hands of SFPD, we are here because we love our community. We not only love Alex, we love ourselves, we love each other, and most importantly, we love the future of the children that we are fighting for, to be able to have a future in this city. The children that Alex wanted to serve. We all have a responsibility to honor Alex through the actions that we take. The actions that we take every day. The last thing I'll say is that it's really important. I didn't personally get a chance to know Alex, right? He was someone that I saw in passing at different actions, at different events. And it really tripped me out as these last 2 years being really active in the community, getting to know who he was as a person by a way of people who knew him and people he worked with. It was a shock to me that this person could have been my friend. This could have been somebody that I got to know and collaborated with. So I challenge each of you to look to your left and to your right. You may not know someone here, but we have something in common. Our struggle is interconnected. We need to know each other, because the way that we're going to win, not just against police brutality, not just against gentrification, not just against the prison industrial complex, is by us coming together and looking at our own leadership. We can't expect elected officials to change anything. The only change that happens is when it comes from the bottom, from the grassroots, and from our communities. So I want to thank you all for being here, for taking a stand. Again, I want to reiterate the importance of black and brown unity, and the importance of our young people, our young warriors who walked out today, who are on their way, our young next generation who will continue this fight for San Francisco. Thank you very much.
Oscar Salinas, yo soy parte de Justice for Alex Nieto.
Oscar, dime, ¿por qué están aquí?
Después de 2 años de que se murió Alex Nieto, estamos aquí para celebrar la vida de Alex Nieto. La comunidad está aquí porque quieren ver que algo cambie en la ciudad de San Francisco contra la policía de San Francisco. Pero la mejor cosa ahorita es celebrar la vida de Alex Nieto y la comunidad.
Empieza el día de el juicio civil, ¿precisamente?
Sí, eso es.
¿Qué es lo que esperan que salga de este juicio civil?
En realidad lo que esperamos, cambio en la ciudad de San Francisco, que cambian la cultura de la policía. Y también todas las comunidades de San Francisco se están juntando diciendo que ya no queremos que pase esto a otro.
Específicamente son los que quieren.
La cultura entre medio de San Francisco, la policía de San Francisco. Y también, cuando algo así pase, que estén ahí para las familias y que no traten de decir algo mal del víctima, porque los nietos han sufrido bastante en los 2 años que esto ha pasado. Pero más es la cultura de la policía de San Francisco.
Yo creo que seas específico en que me digas, por ejemplo, la manera en la que actuaron los oficiales en el caso de Alex Nieto, pues dicen que fue justificado la acción de los oficiales. ¿Por qué ustedes como coalición consideran que no fue justificado?
Porque conocemos a Alex Nieto. Él era una buena persona, él estaba yendo a la escuela del City College de San Francisco. Él también quería ser un probation officer de San Francisco. Él conoce las leyes de San Francisco. Todo lo que dijo la policía que él hizo, nosotros sabemos que no es verdad. Hay un testigo también que ha salido y que va a estar en la corte y va a decir lo que él vio. Y eso es lo que estamos esperando ahorita, que cuando él salga y diga la verdad, vamos a estar ahí para que toda la verdad salga.
Muchísimas gracias.
Ok, gracias.
Amor for his story, amor for his life, amor
for his people. Amor for his love. Amor for his smile. Amor for his fire. Amor for his revolution. Amor for his laughter. Amor for his mind. Amor for his soul. Amor for his mother. Amor for his father. Amor for those he touched. Amor for the ground he walked on. Amor for the neighborhood he called home. Amor for his voice. Amor for his heart. Amor for his eyes that saw life around him. Amor for his lips that sent sentences of life flowing with truth between beats of heart held together by love. Amor for his family. Amor for his spirit. Amor to those who break bread to heal black and brown, brown and black, to join black and brown and black, from Mission to Bayview, from Bayview to Mission. Amor to those who break bread to break silence sealed in lead. Amor to those who break bread for Alex and Mario and those taken from us too early. As the machinery breaks ground, steals homes, breaks backs, breaks bonds, breaks bones and all that is sacred, we say today, more amor for Alex, more amor for justice, amor for Alex, amor for Alex, justice for Alex.
The family of Alex Nieto for standing up for justice and all of our human rights. I want to make a couple of really quick statements, but I want to make sure that London Breed, the chief of police, and the mayor hear this. There's a lot of talk about resolutions, conflicts, etc. with the community and the police. I want to point this out, that any solution that involves a profit for the prison industrial complex is not a solution. And we will no longer accept being the fuel that drives that engine of profit, while our people, our young men, and especially now our young women, who are the largest growing segment of the prison population, continue to feed that monster, whether it's with tasers or shields or tanks, but no more profits for the prison industrial complex. And the other thing I want to say, and I want to challenge London Breed and the chief of police and the mayor, for them to begin the de-escalation of this conflict, because it is the police and the media that have made the people the enemy, not the people making the police the enemy. So I challenge these civic leaders to send patrols of unarmed police into our neighborhoods. And if the San Francisco Police Department cannot find 2 or 3 or 4 officers to patrol our streets unarmed, then I have a serious problem with the San Francisco Police Department. I want to offer a poem in honor of Alex Nieto, because it seems that in our country, corporations are people, but people are targets. It seems like we're living in a Alice in Wonderland world, an upside down world, el mundo al revés. It's a strange world we're living here, where fat buzzards perch on trees while good food lies on the ground, and all around, children in their bare feet. It's a strange world we're living here. There's some hard knocks on this block, where everywhere you look, there's heavily armed cops and a body or two, like Alex Nieto, that never had a chance to scream, stop. No, there's some hard knocks on my block. Es el mundo al revés, donde van corriendo los peces peces y los pajaritos nadan y los gatos pardos ladran, pues es el mundo al revés. It's a strange scene on this street where you're taught to lie and cheat, but in the end, it doesn't matter who you are. You're just another piece of meat because it's a weird scene on Valencia Street. It's a strange world they're selling here, where no one looks you in the eye and the budget goes for hate and war and fear. So the best thing is not to buy anything because it's a strange world they're selling here. Es el mundo al revés, donde van corriendo los peces y los pajaritos nadan y los gatos pardos ladran, pues así es en este mundo al revés. Alex Nieto, presente.
Presente. Gracias, Alejandro. Gracias for blessing us with that poem. Okay? Now it is also another opportunity to hear from a community politician, which almost sounds like a contradiction, okay? All right? But we got one here, okay? His name is John Avalos, my good friend. Thank you for coming. Give us some of your words, brother. All right.
Thank you, brother. It's really great to see you all here today, this morning, in honoring justice and love for Alex Nieto. Your presence here makes such a difference. Your work organizing all these years, 2 years since Alex Nieto was shot down by the police department, has made a huge difference. When you are present before elected officials like myself, you put so much pressure on us to do the right thing, to be transparent in our actions, to make sure that we're working for you. And we need that. Last year, a couple years ago, in December, we had a resolution that was calling out our police departments all around the country and here in San Francisco for how they gunned down community members like Alex Nieto. And we talked about how we have racism in our police department. And my colleagues, some of my colleagues refused to admit that. But it only has taken the movement of people calling for justice, making sure our police department lives up to San Francisco values that have actually flipped my colleagues to make sure that they're pushing on police reform. And what I've been told is that the reforms that have been put in place have been discussed for years. And they just need some excuse, some reason to move forward on de-escalation, on monitoring the use of weapons. And they're doing that, but they're not doing it with the public, with the community. So your voices still matter in this process. They still matter to make sure that we get the oversight that we need, that we remove impunity that the police department have experienced year after year, officer-involved shooting after officer-involved shooting, to make sure we get the justice we need. So thank you, and keep up the work. Make sure that the public eyes are on the elected officials, on the police department. That's the only thing that's going to make change. And you're making the road by walking. Justice for Alex Nieto! Amor for Alex Nieto! Amor for the people of San Francisco! Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. And now we have a living legend in front of us. All right? And I truly mean that. And if you know, you know. Uncle Ray Balberan, Holmes. All right? Check this out. La pura neta right here. This man has been organizing, especially in the mission, since the 1960s. 1960s, man. All right. It is my honor to introduce him. Okay. Here you go, Ray. Okay.
Viva la raza! Let's do this. Let's do this. You know what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Let's do this. We're already one because we're here today.
Yeah.
Right? We're already one in our hearts. We're here. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. It's a privilege and honor to be in this movement for Alex, freedom, and social justice, and for community empowerment. So I wrote something up last night. I want to share it with you. I'm Alex Nieto. The police killed me, murdered me. Hot bullets ripped my body apart, forcing God, life-sustaining bread, my spirit into the clouds over Bernal Heights. Into the clouds of Bernal Heights. I am Alex Nieto. My mother and father are traumatized. My family hearts are crying. My mission people has been disrespected. My school peers grieving. I'm Alex Nieto. Yes, the police killed my body, but not my spirit lives on. Lives on via this movement for justice for all. This movement for justice for all, my spirit lives on. You did not kill my spirit. The spirit cannot die, it's endless. My love for the people is here today and every day. The God of love, spirit pervades the entire universe and lives deep in our hearts. I am Alex Nieto. Thank you, Mother and Father, for unending love and for leading this struggle. I'm Alex Nieto. I dare and challenge you to be strong, caring, and giving people. I dare and challenge you to be community organizers, advocates, and leaders for this movement. Yes. I dare and challenge you to love. I dare and challenge you with love in your hearts to fight in this struggle to end injustice. I am Alex Nieto. The principles for this movement is love and serve the people. Our mission is to end violence.
Hey, thank you once again for a living legend. Please. Okay.
Our arguments to actually make it into court, this is 2 years of solid work that is behind that reality. We did not let Alex Nieto die in vain. And so the community is here to support us. We are going to have spirituality, poetry, singing, and all so that we send positive vibrations into that courtroom. And what we do is we establish a new precedent about how to attack police lies, brutality, and killing. We will not lay down and die.
Hands up! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! How do you spell murder? SFPD! How do you spell murder? SFPD! No justice! No peace! No justice! Police! No justice! No peace! No justice! Police! We're gonna do exactly what they did to Alex Nieto, and we're gonna die right now. So everybody lay on the ground, and we're gonna do a diet right now so that they can see what brown and black people look like on the ground, so they know what to avoid next time. How do you spell murder? SFPD! How do you spell murder? SFPD! How do you spell murder? SFPD! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! It is our duty 20 times. We're going to say Mario number one's name 20 times. Mario number one. 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 Was shot 6 times in the back. We're going to say his name 6 times so these murderous pigs understand who he was. I'm not coming from this little business. I'm never 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 coming from this little business. Hey, somebody get any business, so like a fun, but we can go on another day. Keith Bonding was shot 9 times, getting up the Trinity for $2. These murderous pigs shot him, and he laid on the ground for 45 minutes when the ambulance could have been there for 3. We're going to say Keith Bonding's name. Don't you never forget him. 9 times. Keith Bonding! Keith Bonding! Keith Bonding! Keith Bonding! Now you make sure that they always remember that name is just like that. Because believe me, it could be me or you today. Today.
That's right. There's been an issue with us standing on the steps. Currently on the second one. This is a public building, and we are the public. We are San Francisco natives. We are San Francisco. We built this city. Our generations built this city, and we are not allowed to stand on the steps. We got the city back. We are the city. We are what makes this city great, and we are not allowed to stand on these steps. Are you kidding?
Going inside.
We are young, and we are going to be going inside because we have the legal duty too. We have the right to. We have constitutional rights to due process. We have constitutional rights to equal protection under the law, and then we want to deny it. Where are my young people? I know I'm young. We're not going to answer that because y'all generated us. Make some noise, where are my students, young and old? Where are my people of color? Who's city? Our city! Who's city? Our city! Who's street? Our street! Who's street? Our street! Who's city hall? Our city hall! Who's city hall? Our city hall! Yeah, that's supposed to work for us. We pay for that out of our pocket. Our dad pay for that with their taxes. Our taxes. We're the ones that work hard. We're the ones that pay the bills. We're the ones that take care of business. And yet we are declined so many of our constitutional rights. That is criminal. That is unjust. And we are in the 21st century and it is still happening to this very moment. What kind of shit is that? If you're against injustice everywhere, please make some noise. I need one of my young people to come up here and talk, because I can't be the only one, right?
You got all those lovely ladies right there next to you.
My beautiful ladies.
I'm looking at all our brown and black officers. These are your people right here. Right here in front of this city hall is your people. Are you wearing that damn uniform? Really? How do you feel? You are dumb as hell. Your people right here dying every single day. And you in a damn society where they're murdering your own people? Nigga, we was all in that field together. And you, all right, you know what? Let me calm down.
She has a point. We have black and brown cops. And yet I don't see neither one of them taking a stand with us. They're behind us, keeping us away from our city hall. They're behind us, keeping us away from walking in the streets. They're just standing aside act in violence as they have to our communities. We will show that we can come peacefully as they cannot. We don't need guns strapped to our waist. We don't need batons. We don't need fucking tasers. And yet they do. They're scared of us. We're scared of you. What are you doing to protect and serve us? That badge is not a badge to kill us. It is not a right to murder us and sit there and smile back there, sir. Officer, sir. I mean, officer, because there's no freaking way I can pronounce that correctly if you can't even keep us safe.
Fuck your name.
They say that we cannot enter if we have our purses. Who here is willing to watch our purses as we walk inside?
Who is watching our purses, please?
I'm gonna leave it right here in front of me.
Let your voices
Who's willing to take over City Hall? Now let me say something real quick. We are not here to be violent. We are not here to break anything, to steal. We are not here to be criminals. We are the victims, and we will say it as it is. We are the victims.
Yes.
We are the victims. We are the victims. Thank you. We are the victims. So leave your stuff right here. We're going to walk in and make you stop us. Who wants our stuff? We're not doing it. They're locking the doors. They're locking us out of our city hall. Our city hall. We have a right to pay our bills. It's our city. It's our city. It's our city. Hold on. Hey, back it up. I don't want you guys getting hurt. I don't want y'all getting shot. I don't want your blood to be on these steps today.
Put your hands up.
My young people, get off the steps.
Put your hands up.
I don't want them to have a reason to shoot us. I don't want them to have a reason to call us criminals, to call us violent, to call us animals. Stop the police. 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 How do we spell murder? SFPD. How do we spell murder? SFPD. How do you spell murder? SFPD. How do you spell murder? SFPD. Stand up, we want our freedom.
I greet you all with puro amor, and puro means this is the good stuff, all right? This is the good stuff. I was there at the trial every single day. I took over 100 pages worth of notes. I am going to summarize some of the key points right now. First of all, the final jury that was chosen consisted of a majority white jury. There were no Latino or African Americans on that jury. And this is supposed to be justice. The evidence undeniably proved the following. Antonio Theodore, a black man, a witness who saw the killing of Alex Nieto, he claims that Alex was casually walking down the hill with his hands in his pockets. The officers jumped out of their car, yelled stop, and immediately began killing Alex Nieto. He sustained over 14 gunshot wounds to his head, face, lung, spine, shoulders, chest, leg, forearms, elbow, etc. Alex Nieto was wearing a baseball hat and sunglasses when he was killed. This was confirmed because there was a large hole defect found in the baseball hat that aligned with the shot in Alex Nieto's head. Also, there was brain matter that was found inside of the hat. Now, why is this important? Because The police officer rookie said when he saw Alex Nieto, he looked in Alex Nieto's angry eyes. That's what he said. And he said he saw Alex Nieto's forehead scrunch up in anger. Now, this, of course, is proven to be a lie, because can anyone see my forehead? No! Can you look into my eyes right now, any one of you? That is a bold-faced lie. Another point, when the criminal investigators arrived after the killing and took pictures of the scene, the taser was photographed as being turned off. There is absolutely no way that the taser could have emitted a red laser beam, which is what all the police officers claimed that happened. And they also claim that the wires were ejected from the taser. It is impossible for that to have taken place with the taser being turned off.
Make it plain.
Now, Alex Nieto, they're making us believe that he's holding a taser like this as they fire at him 59 times. 59 times. He's shot in his head, inside of his face, in his lung, in his spine, on his hand, on his wrist. We are supposed to believe that Alex Nieto, he was a beautiful man, but he was not Superman.
Come on.
He could not have sustained all those wounds and continued pointing a taser.
No way.
Now, one last point, the most convincing evidence. The police claim that Alex Nieto at all times had his hands out and was pointing a taser at them. We proved beyond a reasonable doubt that a bone from Alex Nieto's wrist was inside of Alex Nieto's left jacket pocket. That would mean Alex Nieto had his hands in his pockets, just like the witness initially claimed. We, the people, unfortunately had the jury decide for the police officers. But we, the people, did not lose.
That's right. That's right.
Education lost. Because the fairy tale books that they promote as intelligence were proven to be a farce, a hoodwink. We argued better than them. We had more convincing, compelling logic and evidence. Does the stupidity of the verdict, does that answer to the people why we refuse to value your schools, your teachers, your puppet administrators? Does that prove why we don't believe your education?
Rumble, young man, rumble.
We, the people, did not lose. Your justice system lost.
That's right.
Your sham is a tool to make believe everything is fair and just, and that we should just accept your verdict like good, nice players in a fixed game.
Come on, rumble.
We, the people, did not lose.
That's right.
Your morality lost.
That's right.
You were proven to be cowards who could not stand up for the right principle, for a real human being who was unlawfully murdered. You feared going back to your villas in Clayton and Danville and telling your friends and family that you voted for a brown person and not the white, clean-cut poster police officer. Your morality lost. We, the people, did not lose.
That's right.
Your United States of America Constitution lost.
That's right.
Your lies of equality and freedom, that lost.
Come on.
Now, if you are offended, it is not my fault. We didn't make up the rules. You did. You did. If you are challenged, then it is your chance to do right and spread the truth.
That's right.
Fight your father. Fight your uncle, your sister, your privileged community. We, the people, did not lose, for we continue with the truth. Not forward, but upward, upward. We march, we fly. Now, briefly here, and thank you for your attention, everybody, all right? Now to Officer Morse, all right? Immediately after the verdict. That's what this is. I'm going to read to you the exact words Officer Morse wrote on Facebook. This is it, everybody. Listen up. I'm not making this up. Go ahead, research on your own. He says this, smiling, and he's referring to Alex Nieto, smiling in a picture. How about burning his house down and tasing his friend who pressed charges? Now, Officer Roger Morse's post is a threat in the English language. Listen up here, everyone. I'm not making this up. I am a college English instructor. Check this out. I have a BA from Berkeley, a master's, a teaching credential, and a Juris Doctor degree from UC Hastings. Check this. I know my English. Look. You cannot read his statement in any other way except the correct English manner. That is a threat to the Nieto family and to me. Any implications that others are attaching to those words, they are pure speculation. The words must stand on their own.
That's right.
And we must trust that this police officer writer who has written hundreds of reports, he knows how to write in English.
Right.
I have heard of no other explanation from the source himself except that it is a threat.
That's right.
Therefore, fire Officer Morse! 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 All right, gente. One last thing. We have an event this coming Monday at the top of Bernal Heights mountain where Alex was killed. It will be the 2nd year anniversary of his murder. Come on up and see how the homeboys and homegirls transform that into beauty.
Amor for Alex!
Amor for Alex!
Amor for Alex!
Amor for
Gracias, muchas gracias. Esta canción está dedicada en honor a Alex Nieto. Cuando yo digo Alex Nieto, pueden decir presente. Alex Nieto. Presente. Alex Nieto. Presente. Porque queremos que todos los niños y las niñas puedan tener un futuro bello aquí en San Francisco. Proteger la